Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Open House Live. We are the only YouTube, and I'm going to throw it out there, Paul, the only internet live stream show giving you real-time looks at some of the best properties currently listed for sale in Las Vegas. What's up, Paul?
How are you, man? Good to see you, and happy Saturday. It's nice to be indoors where it's not melting at 150 degrees outside.
I know it's getting bad. I went out there this morning at 6:30, not happy about how warm it was already.
Yeah, I wound up doing my bike ride inside today on my trainer because, again, it was 100 degrees to start. When they measure the temperature, they measure it in the shade. Otherwise, it would
Yeah.
just scare people away. And at 6 a.m., it was 95 degrees in the shade.
Yeah.
So, not
105 in the sun if you're riding your bike.
at least.
Well, hey, I open the show with that same thing every single week, and I'm going to keep saying it, Paul, until somebody else proves me wrong that we are not the only live stream bringing open houses, multiple open house properties.
Okay.
There are agents out there that will do a live stream of their open house,
True.
but we're the only one doing multiple properties at the same time.
That's true. Getting different agents that are all working together around town to get those homes sold in this little bit of a slower summer market for us.
It is a little slower. It's unusual.
Yeah.
But there are still agents having great months.
Yeah.
But overall, what do you think it is? What do you think's happening right now?
The same things I've been saying for the last several months. Economic uncertainty is key. Big problem with what people are seeing. I went to dinner last night at a restaurant that is typically on a Friday, typically a wait out the door on any given Friday. And at 7 o'clock, there was still 30-40% of the tables empty.
Wow.
And so those are the types of things. So it's a trickle down effect with that. If people aren't out spending money to go out to dinner, they're not making big decisions.
Yeah.
Cars, homes, remodel jobs, things like that. All of it's a little bit on the slower side. So I just think it's, people are tired of what's happening and worried about being what they can afford.
Yeah, it was a pretty volatile week this week on the mortgage market. All stemming from oil prices. That's the biggest variable. Oil goes up, interest rates go up, bond prices go up. And that's I locked one guy in this week at 6 3/4.
Oof.
And I just looked again. That was Tuesday. I priced it again end of day Thursday, but we were locked, and we were pushing 7.
Wow.
In just a couple days. But,
It's tough. And so it's tough with this market where you have people who are just, I don't say stuck in their home, but are married to an interest rate that they're not going to depart with. So the move up buyer is having a hard decision moving up. If you to add what you locked your client in is 4 percentage points higher than my mortgage.
mm-hmm.
So if I was to buy a house similar in size, even less in price, I would more than double my mortgage. And with the economic uncertainty, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and that is what's stifling our inventory.
right.
Inventories come up, but it could stand to come up quite a bit more. What are we're around 8,500 to 9,000 properties on the market right now.
Correct. Yeah.
So we'll just keep at it each and every week.
Keep trying to help these agents get these homes sold and getting people out here and putting it out there for them to see what's happening.
Yeah, you know what? No, I'll tell this, and I know Andy will chime in when we bring him on. He was telling me a story before the show. He listed a property, I think it was in north part of town, and he was expecting 3 or 4 weeks on the market. I think he had it sold in 2 days.
Sure.
Yeah.
Once that price right in certain areas, they're flying off the market. But again, it's that middle spot, right? That $500,000 to $900,000 range. Those are the tough ones to move.
Yeah.
Things below and things that are higher. It's hard to say. We'll keep at it.
It is. It is. Well, the show is called Open House Live, so let's get to an open house.
Let's go.
You know what? I'm just going to shoot myself right now. I said we had multiple properties on open house. Unfortunately, Dorothea is not able to make it, so we're doing one property today.
All right. Well,
but that's all right.
No, and Andy's a returning guest and a good friend and a great real estate agent.
Andy Stahl from Raintree Real Estate. He is a returning guest. I think this is his third time back on the show, but his first time in like 7 months. We gotta talk to Andy about that. What's going on, Andy?
Oh, you caught me in the bathroom. My bad. No, I wanted to ask you fellas. Well, I will explain why I'm in the bathroom, but I wanted to ask you, what do you guys think about the idea of increasing the capital gains tax exemption for singles and married couples in order to allow more people that have equity to sell their houses? You know, because I have more than the exemption. If I were to sell my house right now, what are your thoughts on that?
I love it. I think it's great, and I think it's going to be helpful for people. I don't know if that's the deciding factor, what's keeping maybe a small portion of people in their home, but it's going to be nice to, if they switch that from 250 and 500 to up that and double it, is my understanding is where it's going. And if that's indeed the case, to have that exemption is going to be huge for people. Once interest rates start making a little bit of a dip, I think it will activate a little bit more activity. But right now, there'll only be, I feel, there's just a handful that are going to take advantage of that, not having to pay taxes.
Now, I'm where you are, Paul. I don't know if that's as big of a factor for people, but Andy, what are you hearing? Because you're the one talking with sellers. Is that an issue that they're thinking about?
I agree with Paul. I think it would make a modicum of difference in the number of sellers and then buyers we'd have. I think it would affect different parts of the country differently. When you've got Californians that are flush with equity, but if they sell their house there, they've got to pay a huge capital gains tax fee. If that's reduced, then they're going to have more money to move inland to cities like Las Vegas and Boise and Reno and what have you. So I think in different parts of the country, it might make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I don't know how much of a factor it really is, although people do think about it. But I would love to see it be increased. I think it needs to be.
Oh, it definitely needs to be. Absolutely. Yeah. It's been too long since they've made any adjustment to that.
Yep. Well, Andy, where are you at today?
Yeah, so I'm in my favorite zip code, 89131. Been here for, I've lived here for 13 and a half years. And so I've got a house at the north end of Jones, which is, pretty rural up here. But truth be told, it's a straight shot down Jones to get to the 215, and then you're anywhere you want to go in the valley. But the address is 8834 Arroyo Azul. So we're at Iron Mountain Jones. Literally, it's the last right turn on Jones when you're heading north to the edge of town. These houses were built around the turn of the century, which I think I can say that now since it's been 26 years ago. So this house was built in 2005. It's a sprawling 2-story. And the reason I was sitting in the bathroom is because I can show you this house has been converted to be fully accessible. So these fold up for more access to the roll-in shower and a roll-under sink. And so I'm seeing, as the generations age, I'm seeing more baby boomers looking for accessible houses, whether it's ramps or single stories or extended living. And I have a house up in Mesquite for sale right now that has a step-in bathtub. I sold one over by Tivoli Village a couple months ago that had a step-in bathtub. And it's somewhat of a unicorn buyer. Not everybody wants a roll-under sink and a step-in tub, but the people who do want them or need them, they're looking for it. So that's the big thing that separates this house from, you know, for example, another house down the street? Are you guys seeing any of that, aging in place situations, or buyers that are looking for the single story ramps and things like that?
Well, Mike, I was going to ask you that. You know, my family, we have my father-in-law lives in a house that is accessible like that. You know, we have a roll in, and I was, seeing. Do you think that that's adding value to it, or do you think it's scaring some people away from the purchase of the property?
Honestly, I think it's adding value, but to the right person. I mean, you could make the same argument about a house that has an extra garage. Like during the pandemic, I built an extra garage at my house, and I know someday when I go to sell it, not everybody needs to park 7 cars in a garage. But the right person, if another Andy comes along looking for a house where they can store a bunch of cars, well, then that's going to be a huge bonus to them. And so I think the same thing is true for bathrooms like this, or houses that have roll under sinks and ramps and stuff. Is to the right person, they see the value, and it's like, oh, look, we found one, and that becomes an added value. Yeah. But to your point, I think you're right. I think in general, it's not for everybody, but like I said, a garage, a roll under sink, or something else that's, unique to a property, it could help the house sell.
Yeah, it's definitely going to reduce the buyer pool for that property, but for the right person, they're willing to pay more. So,
right.
I think it kind of balances itself out.
Yeah. But we don't have to dwell on the bathroom of this house for the whole time on the phone. Here, I'll take you out in the backyard and show you the what we got up here in the northwest. So this is a 1/5 of an acre, and you can see the mountains there at the background, how close we are to, there's Gas Peak. Right up there is Gas Peak at the north end of town. But yeah, you got a 1/5 acre, 2-story. They just freshly painted the exterior. You know how we have some big lots up here. They've got the RV parking over here on the side of the house. And then their pandemic project was converting the yard to be, low maintenance desert landscaping and a separate hot tub. That was their pandemic project.
Very good.
But, covered patio, pool with a slide, and all that fun stuff.
I like that term,
and
pandemic project. I call it, pandemic impulse buys. I think is more of what some of that was. For me,
right.
Anyway. Yeah, but.
Yep. And if it adds value to the house, okay, great. I mean, they're leaving this hot tub behind. We know it's only about 5 years old, so that's going to add some. Somebody's going to want a hot tub. But the other thing they did is when they worked on the bathroom to make it accessible, they modified the kitchen as well. So as you can see, you've got roll under kitchen counter here, nice wide spaces to get around the island in the kitchen. And then when they did that, they just went the whole Monty and redid the whole kitchen as well. So appliances, countertops, cabinets, didn't just replace the fronts, but actually replaced the cabinets. So everything's in tip-top, newer condition. And some other, the wall, the accent wall, and things like that as well. But yeah, when you walk in this house, this is the great room where they've got pool table set up, and then upstairs there's a railing. Hi guys. So yeah, this is a nice sprawling large property. Office where they were using it as their workout area. Again, Paul, I know you know how this was during the pandemic. Everyone needed a home office, a home school area, a home gym. I mean, you needed to have everything in the house because we were all stuck in our homes,
Yeah. And
don't we all still want those things though? I know I do.
Yeah, I absolutely do. And I think there's a psychological change since the pandemic. I mean, a lot of people want those things in their house, that they don't have to go out somewhere for it. Because, I mean, I'm not expecting another pandemic, but some people are like, they're psychologically damaged by that. So with this one, you've got the neighborhood park here across the street and a playground. So lots of open area. And then here, I'll step back so you can see the front of the house. But yeah, nice fresh exterior paint, 3-car garage, nice big driveway.
Yeah, the fifth of
And
an acre.
like I said, it's been well kept. What's that, Paul?
Got a fifth of an acre too, like you said. That's the beauty of that, having that land, and that's something you don't see in a lot of parts of town. Having a good sized yard. Some of them are just making them smaller and smaller, and it's nice to have that size.
Right. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the average lot size in Las Vegas is like 1/10 of an acre.
Yeah.
It's not, because with all the houses built, again, since the turn of the century, they're putting them on smaller and smaller lots. So to have 1/5 of an acre is 5 times the Vegas average.
You keep screwing with my brain, Andy, when you keep saying turn of the century.
Yep. Well, it's true, I mean, the deeper we get into the 21st century, the more you're going to hear that. But yeah. So primary
Andy,
bathroom, separate shower. What's that, guys?
Question for you as you're walking through, showing us the rest of the house. So you specialize in probate.
Yes.
As you're walking through, give us a few nuggets about probate properties. Number one, is this property from probate?
No, this is a traditional sale. This one's completely normal. I would have opened with that because, those take a little extra attention. But no, this is just a traditional sale. The probates are the ones where someone has passed away intestate, meaning they don't have a testamentary or a will, or they have not vested the house correctly. And this is why it's important to have someone like Paul on your team, because if somebody buys a house and I have one right now where it was a widow, her husband passed away and she sold her house and moved to be closer to her kids in Henderson. And I've been pestering her for months to get a trust set up or to do something where her son is on the title to the house, because when she inevitably goes, there's only 2 things sure in life, death and taxes. When she inevitably goes, it's going to go through probate. And so I've had to try to convince her, hey, you have to set this up so that you're able to pass this on to your heirs without them hiring me to handle a probate. So, and Paul can help people with that as far as how they vest the properties, when they get that set up at the title company. But anyhow, that in a nutshell, that's one of the things I specialize in.
Cool.
House is in great shape. Are they still living there?
Yeah. So I helped them buy another house, and they're renovating that as we speak. Like literally today, they're renovating that house. And so they're just getting things slowly moved over to the new place to get this one sold. But as you can see, it's sprawling. I mean, I don't know if you've been keeping track, but the primary bedroom, and then the bedroom there at the front, and then another bedroom at the back, and then another bedroom here at the front, and an oversized bedroom here that looks out over the front. And there's still a loft with built-ins. If you're looking for a second office area or primary office area, what have you. Great
space and a good sized house, and immaculate. It looks like they've done a really good job taking care of the house. And I think that's, a key of moving a property these days is having someone who cares about their property. And these homeowners, most certainly from what we can see from this visual representation, they really care about this home.
Agreed. Absolutely. And they took my advice. When we were getting ready to sell it, they had the exterior painted just to clean up. It was a little faded from the sun because, again, turn of the century home. And so they cleaned it up and did some work to it. But yeah, they raised their kids here. It's got 3 full bathrooms. So the one we just passed and this one right here is actually another full bath. And then the 3/4 bath downstairs that I started in, the accessible bathroom. So, 5 bedrooms, 4 baths, 4 full baths, or 3 and a 3/4 bath. And then the extra office space there and the den down here. This is actually a good view because you can see kind of the whole house. This is the Rapunzel balcony, I call it. because you can, Rapunzel, let down your hair. So from here, you can see the office at the front and the den over on the side, which they briefly repurposed as a bedroom. In fact, I'll add this. I sold a house a couple years ago that had a loft, and the buyers wanted a 4th bedroom. And we said, while we were in escrow, we said, how about we frame it in while we're in escrow? And the buyers were like, okay, we'll buy the house. And so we had a bid all set up. We had measurements done. And then as soon as we closed escrow, the day we closed, the money was already waiting with the contractor to frame shut the loft into a 4th bedroom. So it was a win-win-win situation. And this is the same type. If you wanted this to be turned into a downstairs bedroom, it's plenty big enough to frame it shut with some French doors or just a single door, and put a closet over in the corner and make that into a downstairs extra bedroom, a downstairs 6th bedroom.
Is there a downstairs bedroom now? You mentioned it has an accessible bathroom. It seems when there's an accessible downstairs bathroom that there's typically a bedroom with it.
This was a bedroom. They had this set up with curtains and whatnot, and we're using this as a downstairs bedroom. So currently, they moved everything out of it just to sell the house. But that was my point. If we needed to frame this area shut to make it a legit bedroom, that's pretty easy stuff. And that could be handled again while we're in escrow. So it's set to be done the day we close escrow, and be all ready for the new owners.
Excellent.
When this home was sold before the turn of the century, that might have been an option for a 6th bedroom.
I think you're right. That is a possibility.
Well, hey, Andy, this property is priced at under $200 a square foot.
Yeah, we just did a little price reduction to get under the 800 threshold. We were at 810, and we just went to 799. So yes, you're right. Which, as you guys know, that's a good price per square foot.
Yeah, it sounds low for the size of the house with a pool and a slide. Can't leave that out. It just seems like it's priced extremely well.
Yeah, I mean, if this house were in Summerlin or McDonald Highlands or something like that, yeah, it's a 7-figure house. Yeah. But that's the beauty of Centennial Hills, north of Summerlin, and we're not in any of the master plan communities, which the benefit is that it's you're not paying all those fees and stuff. The downside is they're not holding their value, or they're holding their value, but they're not selling for as much as like this house would be in Summerlin. But that's another reason why I like this area up here. I live up here. I love it up here. This is, according to the Ward 6 City Councilwoman, the safest ward in Las Vegas. They're putting in another police substation up at Grand Teton in Hualapai that's actually under construction as we speak. So we'll have another substation up here in the Northwest for calls for service. And the prices, as you just said, you can get a sprawling house like this for under $200 a foot.
Yeah. So look in other areas besides just Green Valley and Summerlin. Better deals out there.
Right. Right. And I'll tell you, we are, like I said, quite literally at the edge of town. Just a few houses north of here is the Wash and the area where they found all the mammoth bones and, fossils and whatnot. And then further to the north, up on the slope leading up to Gas Peak is the Clark County shooting range, which is far enough away you don't hear it or anything. But we're the edge of town. So there's not going to be any more growth directly north of here. I mean, obviously they're building homes heading up the 95. Like, do you guys know about the Monument Hills neighborhood that's proposed for between Sunstone Trilogy and the Paiute Indian Reservation? Have you heard about this?
I have not.
Tell us all about it, Andy.
Yeah, so it's you're heading up the 95 and you get to the Kyle Canyon Road exit. On the east side of the 95 is that age-restricted Sunstone Trilogy neighborhood. So if you can imagine between there and then as you continue north on the 95 and you hit the Snow Mountain exit for the Paiute Indian Reservation, that area is being developed by Olympia Companies, which is the company responsible for Sky Canyon. And so they've had some neighborhood meetings and some planning commission meetings about their plans for that whole area. If you look at it on Google Maps, you can see there's like a triangle in the desert. You can see the triangle, and it's that triangle where they're going to build. In addition to that, where they're going to have, typical single family homes, some accessible housing, they're going to have military specific housing, and the plan is to put in another interchange between Kyle Canyon Road and Snow Mountain interchange that crosses over the 95 and then connects to what's now Schaumburg Road, and that would run behind Sky Canyon, so west of Sky Canyon, behind Providence, west of Providence, and then follow the west edge of town and connect to the Ann and the 215 interchange.
Oh, wow.
So there's all kinds of interesting stuff happening up here. But getting back to my point, that's further to the northwest of us. That's up the 95. Where we're at, there's really nothing else going in north of where I'm at right now, because it's just it's just the fossils that they found, and then the Clark County shooting range. But yeah, that Monument Hills neighborhood, you'll hear more about that in the coming years, because some people are for it, some people don't necessarily want a Summerlin Parkway type road behind Sky Canyon and Providence, but it's already on all the Kyle Canyon plan for the city. It's already in all their maps and their public planning.
Very good. Very good. But
Yeah.
you always have all the info for that part of town, which is nice. It shows a good, you know your neighborhood better than anybody.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you, I don't pretend to know Henderson, for example. I've certainly sold plenty of houses down there, but when you're coming up here to the northwest, this is my jam. This is my area. So tracking all the planning commission meetings and city council meetings and developments for new neighborhoods. I mean, I remember back in the day, just after the turn of the century, there was nothing on Kyle Canyon Road. You remember you used to have to cross traffic to turn up the hill on Kyle Canyon Road. And now it's a full bore interchange with another one planned north of it. So it's been fun to watch the Northwest grow. I truly believe that it's been done responsibly. They released this Kyle Canyon master plan, the city did, years ago. And it was almost like a coffee table book. You could see it at city council meetings, or if your councilwoman or councilman had a public meeting, they would bring it, and you could take pictures of it and see where Sky Canyon was going to extend east of the 95, and where the casino, there's zoning for casinos, or for a casino there right by the Kyle Canyon 95 interchange. And you can tell how long I've been here because I call it the 95 and not the 11.
I still call it the 95. We all do. Anyone who's been here longer than 6 months is calling it the 95.
Right.
Andy, I've got one for you.
Yeah.
So way back, well before the turn of the century, Smoke Ranch Road on the west side of Jones going west towards the mountains. When you got to the 95, not the 11, the 95, you had to wait for traffic on the 95 to go by before you could cross over on Smoke Ranch Road.
Yeah.
Nothing else. There was nothing else out there. Totally empty, but the road crossed the 95 and you had to wait for that traffic.
That's just wild to think about how much we've grown in that 26-year time. Like when I moved here in 06, the Rainbow Curve was just being finished. Mm-hmm. And so the 215, as you remember, was just a 4-lane road with red lights at Decatur and every place, red lights at Tenaya, all the way around. And then, as you remember, little by little, they put in the interchanges, and then the very last one went away, and now it's limited access nonstop from Nellis all the way around the valley. Yep. But that's something else. I'm glad you brought up the traffic and how it's changed. The Centennial Bowl, which is the interchange of the 215 and the 9511, as that was finished, do you know that's the second busiest interchange in the state after the Spaghetti Bowl? The Spaghetti Bowl is number 1, and the Centennial Bowl is the second busiest interchange in the state. And so I love it because from where we live up here, we can jump on the 215 or the 95 and scoot back and forth between the two, but it's about a half hour to the airport, the McCarran Airport. So we're at the edge of town. Truthfully, this house might be 35 minutes to the airport because we're a little bit further north than where I live. But you get my point. The Centennial interchange has really improved the connectivity to get for, like, if someone lived here and worked at Nellis, oh my gosh, you just right across the 215 to Nellis. Or if you work on the Strip, okay, 215, fly over to 95 South, you're down at the Strip. The Smith Center, it's less than 20 minutes to the Smith Center. So that's what I meant when I said I feel like there's been some responsible growth up here in the Northwest, because our infrastructure is now supporting these new neighborhoods like Sky Canyon and the finishing of Providence, and now this upcoming Monument Hills neighborhood. So I don't see that in every part of the valley. I mean, you guys know there's parts of the valley that get trafficky, and especially during rush hour, you're just watching taillights in front of you. But up here, we have all the big box stores. There's a Costco on Decatur. There's a Lowe's on Durango. There's a Home Depot. There's 2 Walmarts, all just within about 10 minutes. So yeah, we're at the edge of town. And I know there's people that are like, oh, it's too far to the north. No. Come up here and drive around a little bit, and you'll understand. You get the rural lifestyle with not a terrible commute.
The question is, too far from what, right? Like, what is it too far from? Is it too far from their job, or too far from the Strip? I mean, maybe, but it's not too far from civilization, not too far from all of the things that you need. People say that about where I live out in the Inspirata area. It's so far away. Well, so far away from what? Is it far away from where you live, Andy? Yes. Andy and I live 35 miles away from each other. But I have everything else. I have a Costco 3 miles from my house.
Right.
I get it.
You could say that about Vegas in general. I've been here 20 years. That's almost half my life, almost. And I can tell you from growing up in Pennsylvania, where the roads were just kind of followed the river, the nearest stream, and then you come out here and you see the intelligent growth that Vegas has had with the grid system for the streets and our beltway that goes most of the way around the valley. That's one of the things I love about Vegas. For anybody watching from a coastal city that's thinking about moving here, even at our worst, even during rush hour, it's not that bad to get around.
I would agree.
No, think about the LA area. It's massive. Going all the way from like West Covina to LA. Karen grew up in West Covina, and they never went to LA. But yet it's still integrated it's still part of that massive metro area. That's what I feel like Vegas is now leaning towards and pushing towards. You've got Centennial Hills. At this point, people will still go from Centennial Hills into Henderson, but it won't be too many years longer where they won't. They'll even be a little bit further out, and they'll just stay in their geographic area.
Yeah, because why would they need to unless they had family or a job? Because as Vegas becomes more self-sustaining and not solely a service economy based on the Strip, well, now we're big enough with 2.5 million people that we need all of the things to support the Strip and everything that started Vegas. So, I've got a dentist and a doctor and a real estate agent, right up here where I live, and I don't need to go to the Strip. I don't need to go anywhere, but we're growing up. And even though it was in the news this past week that the population of Vegas was expected to grow to, we're going to hit 3 million and then 3.25 million. And they've rolled that back a little bit. They said we're still growing, but we're not growing quite as fast as they predicted. That sounds perfect to me. That just sounds great to get to. When we get to 3 million intelligently with the roads plan, with the infrastructure plan, and keep 100 plus people a day move to Vegas. That was based on the 24 census, I think it was. A little over 100 people a day moving here. So where are they going to live? We're like the rings of a tree. You got the old part of the valley in the middle, And then now you get out here to the outskirts, the edge of the tree where the bark is, and where the new builds. So this area up here is poised for growth and able to handle it.
I love it.
Well, Andy,
I sound like a Las Vegas like a cheerleader.
Hey, when we knew Dorothea was not coming on the show, I said the three of us could talk for 2 hours, and Paul was adamant about no, we're not doing that today. So
I'm getting off in 9 minutes.
We might need to cut this down.
I got plenty more.
Oh, I know you do. But for Paul's sanity, let's cut it down.
Okay. Well, fellas, again, thank you for having me today. I'm glad to be able to show off this really a nice house, really a well-kept house up here in Centennial Hills. I'm going to call it Centennial Hills. I don't know where the actual border is for Centennial Hills, but we're close enough. And so, again, people, I will till 3 p.m. today. Oh, you've got the address on your form there. So, yep, I'll be here until 3 p.m. today. Come up and visit with me. We'll talk real estate. We'll talk Vegas, and have a good time.
Sounds good, Andy. Hey, we appreciate you coming on the show again, and let's get you back and not wait 7 months to make it happen.
That sounds good. I've got a really cool open house, or not an open house, but a listing up in closer to Providence. That would be a fun one. That would be another fun one to do.
Cool. Well, let's do it.
Okay. I'll see you, fellas. Thanks for your time.
Thanks.
All right, Andy. Have a good one. Thanks.
You too. Bye-bye.
Awesome.
You sure you don't want to go 2 hours, Paul?
Yeah,
Andy's fun.
He's I've known Andy for a really long time, and one of the best people in our business here locally.
Yeah.
Not only just a great real estate agent, but just a great person in general. Like, he's one of the best people I know, and I'm grateful to call him a friend and a client. So I'm glad that we can get him on the show and help him move this beautiful house out there in the Northwest.
Yeah. Well, good deal. Again, sorry we had to cut it short this week.
Yeah, it's when we're dealing with technology and dealing with Wi-Fi, it's hit or miss. I mean, we've had some really good experiences on this show, and we've had some real challenges on the show, and everything in between. So it was nice. Andy had a good connection today, even though he was out in the middle of nowhere, I think we're so far from everything, as some people might say. But even so, he had good connection, and other times we just last week, remember, we had our agent couldn't get on at all. She couldn't get any signal working at all, and that was out in Lake Las Vegas, another nice part of town. So it's
right.
Just depends.
But you know what? We're going to keep doing the show each and every week. We're going to do it.
Let's keep it up. Well, like and subscribe. Want to get more people to see what's happening, and tell your friends if they're interested in putting their show, and the agents that you know that are interested about having their open house marketed through this. And this gets sent out to other agents around town, other people in other parts of the country see it about different homes. And it could be a referral for one of your agents. Could be someone might see it randomly looking up a open house in Las Vegas, and it comes up and gets them in front of one of these agents and move a property.
Well, awesome, Paul. We will be back next Saturday, 11 a.m. Open House Live on YouTube. And again, until someone corrects me, the only live stream show on the internet bringing you multiple properties each and every week.
Yes,
we'll see you soon.
Thanks, man.